Each year on the 18th of October, a celebration is thrown. The Santana family celebrates the date. However, they also have great sorrow for the same date. The date brings back memories of a girl named Marlene Santana. Marlene Santana was abducted when she was only 3 years old. The date was October 21st, 1985. It was 3 days after Marlene was born. Francesca, who is Marlene's mother, was viewing her baby when she noticed another lady who was looking at the babies also. According to Francesca, the woman was very nice and told Francesca how lucky she was to have such a beautiful baby. Later that same day at 9 p.m., Francesca, along with her two sister-in-laws, were leaving the hospital. When the three women exited the hospital, the woman who greeted Francesca in the nursery earlier was waiting outside. The woman asked Francesca what she was doing. When Francesca told her that she was heading home, the woman said that this is not a game. She then pulled out a pistol and proceeded to put it at the head of the baby. The woman's demand was simple: walk or I'll blow your baby's head off. According to Francesca, the four of them walked over 6 blocks. The woman told them to stop. When they finally stopped, they were in front of an abandoned junkyard. Francesca believed that the three of them were going to be robbed. However, it was something much worse. In a cold tone, the woman said, "Give me the baby." The woman again demanded that Francesca give her the baby. This time she placed the gun back to the head of Marlene. Once the woman got possession of Marlene, she yelled at the three women to start walking. When they started to walk down the sidewalk, a car sped by and stopped next to the woman who was holding baby Marlene. It was an accomplice. Francesca tried to run after the woman. However, it was too late. By the time she started to run after her, the woman was already in the car. The sound of the baby crying could be heard as the car sped away into the darkness. Francesca talks about how she was in so much shock after Marlene was kidnapped that they saw several vehicles and tried to flag them down, but no one stopped to offer any assistance. Francesca went to the police and they returned to the scene of the crime. She was able to describe the vehicle as a white 1976 Chevy Malibu with red letters on the door. The police went to the hospital and talked to the workers to see if they could get any information about the woman who had kidnapped Marlene. It's believed that the woman is not a professional criminal, but instead an emotionally unstable woman who is unable to have children of her own. It is believed that the woman is white with Hispanic features. She has no accent, and at the time of the abduction, it is believed that she was in her late 20s. The Santana family hired an artist to draw what Marlene could look like as a child. The image on the left is Marlene at 3 years of age, and the image on the right is of Marlene as a young woman. Marlene has brown hair and brown eyes. Marlene was born with a medical condition that makes her feet look like they are making the letter C when viewed from the bottom. Marlene may celebrate her birthday near Halloween. It's also believed that she may have been put up for an illegal adoption in the year 1985 or 1986. Francesca hopes that one of these days that someone who knows who Marlene really is will tell her the truth and that her daughter will one day come home. If you have any information about this case, please contact your local police department or the police department in Brooklyn, New York. The final thought is just my opinion about what could have happened in the case you just watched. The final thought isn't meant to be taken as exact proof. Okay, it's time for the final thought. Whenever a child is abducted, it's a tremendous crime and a scar that can't be erased from a family's memory. Personally, I hope that one day Marlene is reunited with her family. But with her being nearly 33 years old, I will admit that the outlook is looking more and more bleak. However, I must put my feelings aside and think about the alternatives to this case. And I have two possible scenarios about who the person was that kidnapped Marlene and who they could have been. Scenario number one. I know I've said some things before in my previous final thoughts that people strongly disagreed with, and I understand that. I know this will also be another one of those instances that I can't wait to hear from you, the loyal fans, have to say. I remember a case on Unsolved Mysteries. I can't remember the people, but the case involved a girl being given to her mother's aunt because the daughter was too ill and the aunt had the resources to take care of her. In return, the aunt would take up the role as the girl's mother. It wasn't until the girl was an adult that she found out that the woman that she knew as an associate or even as a family member turned out to be her mother. It was never revealed if Marlene's medical condition could have had long-range difficulties for her. This is why Francesca made a deal with a family member who had the resources to take care of Marlene, that she would hand over the baby. However, people already knew that Francesca was pregnant, so they had to come up with a story. The story that they came up with is that a strange woman kidnapped Marlene before when she was being taken home. In reality, Francesca met with the family member and handed her over. I wouldn't be surprised if the family member even dropped Francesca off a block or two away from the police department in a form of sympathy. The reason I think this could have happened is because during the entire case, none of Marlene's family, besides her mother, wanted to be interviewed. Why wouldn't the father have wanted to plead for his daughter's return? What about the two sisters-in-law? No one wanted to be there with Francesca during this heartbreaking event. For all Marlene may know, she may have even interacted with her mother without realizing who it was she was talking to. However, I agree with scenario 2 though. Scenario number 2. This will be, I ultimately think, it could have been the case of a woman who is emotionally or even mentally disturbed because she couldn't have a baby. So day in and day out, she spends time at the hospital nurseries dreaming about the one thing she could never have. Then one day, she came across a baby that she decided she was going to make hers. She then kidnapped the baby, and for all we know, the accomplice of the 1976 Chevy Malibu could have been the woman's husband. Even though they broke the law, for all I know, they could actually be giving Marlene the love and care that legitimate parents could. I think this scenario has the most chance for being what happened. I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. It's because of people like you that I make these videos. Our family may be small, but they are all very loyal. If you're a new viewer and you like what you saw, please leave a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and if you want to be alerted to when I release new videos, please click on the bell. Thank you, and have a good night.